Many of us like to keep our friends close and our pets closer. Most of us are madly in love with our beloved pets and would be broken if anything ever happened to them. However, some individuals are unable to keep their pets and many decide to release them into the wild, assuming that they will survive well enough on their own. This is rarely the case, and many pets that are released end up in danger and cause major issues for the surrounding population. Let's take a look at 10 pets that can never be released into the wild without major consequences. Most of you would never expect the animal that claims the #1 spot, so stick around to find out. Number 10. The Burmese Python is estimated to be one of the largest snakes in the world. They have caused serious issues for Florida residents since the 1980s, and these problems have only gotten worse with time. Most wildlife experts believe that these snakes were originally kept as household pets, but they were eventually released into the wild after they became too large to keep in a family home. Most of the pythons that can be found in Florida grow between 6 and 9 feet long, but some grow to be even larger. This makes the idea of abandoning one of these snakes more reasonable, but still an unwise decision. However, each year more people continue to release their pet snakes into the wild, and it is causing major concern amongst Florida National Park officials. Since 2002, it is estimated that over 2,000 pet snakes have been removed from the Everglades National Park. Experts believe that these snakes are the sole reason behind the declining population of wildlife in the area, including rabbits, bobcats, and possums. Snakes should always be surrendered to a local pet store or wildlife expert if you are no longer able to take care of them. It is never safe to release them into the wild. Number 9. The red lionfish is not an animal that many people would have as pets, though they can be found in certain pet stores across the world. The red lionfish has begun to cause problems for native saltwater fish in certain areas of Florida, with this issue only getting worse since the 80s. Most scientists and marine biologists seem to believe that the lionfish infestation that is taking place in the Atlantic Ocean can be boiled down to 6 individual lionfish that were released from an aquarium back in 1992. Yes, 6 individual fish have caused an epidemic that threatens life as we know it in the Atlantic Ocean. Since this news came to light in the 90s, it is believed that several other lionfish have been released in more recent years by aquarium enthusiasts who are looking to get out of business. This has led to an unforeseen number of lionfish making their way into the wild, with the fish having now migrated to states such as southern Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina. These fish are known for being predators to many of the fish that live in these areas and are threatening the biodiversity in these regions. They have begun to interfere with the coral reefs and have turned the local ecosystem on its head. If the lionfish population is not properly maintained, it could spell disaster for the local marine wildlife, which could eventually impact human health. Number 8. You've likely begun to notice that many of the animals on this list have specifically threatened Florida's residents, and this is a trend that will continue through these next few animals as well. The green iguana is another creature that has become a nuisance for Florida residents as far back as 1966. These lizards were first recorded in the wild in the 1960s, and their population has only grown since then. These lizards breed unimaginably quickly, and their offspring can now be found all over the state. They do not usually attack humans or other animals, as they are vegetarians. However, they have begun to destroy parks and residential lawns and are causing issues with the local plant life due to their snacking and breeding. The good news is that winter months usually help to keep the population under control, but as soon as warm weather rolls in, green iguanas will become populating once more. One of the concerns is that these iguanas, if they manage to survive winter, can grow to be over 6 feet long. While it is incredibly uncommon for them to attack humans, there have been several incidences that were documented in the past. They are known to get very aggressive if they feel threatened, and are now officially considered to be a public safety hazard for many Floridians. Number 7. Several species of monkeys have managed to make their way into the wild after Florida residents have released their pets in hopes that they can fend for themselves and craft themselves a better life. In recent years, the thriving monkey population in Florida has been a draw for many tourists to visit the area. However, these monkeys are known to carry many different diseases that can cause major health concerns for humans. According to research, over 700 wild monkeys that were captured in Florida have tested positive for herpes. It is believed that many of these monkeys released back in the 30s, and their population has simply grown since then. Nearly all of these monkeys are considered to be non-natives, and the recent boom in individuals purchasing exotic pets and releasing them has only made this issue worse. Number 6. Scientists conducted a year-long research project in which they documented wild tree frogs and studied their habitats. This study unveiled the truth that the Cuban tree frog has wiped out over 80% of the natural tree frog population in certain areas of the United States. It is believed that many of these frogs were introduced into the wild about 40 years ago, with some of them making their way to the United States in shipping containers from other countries. The Cuban tree frog is known for being aggressive toward other species of tree frogs, and the two species ultimately fight for the local habitats. These frogs don't pose any major risk for humans, but they will eventually wipe out the native tree frog population if left untreated. Number 5. Rats and mice are some of the most popular pets to be released into the wild. However, the issue that most individuals do not consider is that these mice have been domesticated over many years, so they do not have the genetic traits that are important for survival in the wild. In addition to this, many white mice or rats can be easily spotted in the wild and will likely not last long without being attacked by a predator. However, some darker colored mice have proven to do quite well in the wild, but they eventually become invasive and may inhabit the homes of unsuspecting victims. They can then begin to chew through wire, wood, and other important components and cause major issues for homeowners.
Yo, dude! Huh? Yo, dude! Just like Elvis in Blue Hawaii.
Number 4. A goldfish is a common pet to release into the wild, but if they manage to survive, they can dramatically affect the local ecosystem. They are known to eat without limit and can feast upon nearly every small fish or insect in the local waters. They then grow and adapt to their new environment and can begin to eat so much that they cause population issues for certain varieties of fish. An excellent example of this was a recent discovery of a 15-kilogram goldfish that was caught by a fisherman in the wild. Number 3. The giant African land snail has recently become illegal in the United States due to its ability to destroy everything in its path. The main population of these snails can be traced back to a young boy from Miami who released 3 of them into the wild in 1966. Just 7 years later, the population was estimated to have grown to be over 18,000, and Florida State had to spend millions to rid the local area of the pests. Number 2. Chameleons are known for being excellent hunters in the wild. However, because of their ability to blend into their surroundings, they can easily begin to overpopulate local areas because they have virtually no predators. This can cause major overgrowth in certain areas of the US and will very easily lead to overpopulation. Number 1. Though this may come as a surprise, dogs are one of the most dangerous animals to release into the wild. Yes, our beloved furry friends can pose serious issues for the world around them if released into the wild. Most of us have enough common sense to understand that you should never set a domestic dog free. However, each year thousands of animals end up homeless because they were ditched on the roadside, abandoned in the woods, or worse. Domestic dogs are largely unable to care for themselves in the wild. Releasing a dog almost certainly ends in disaster for the dog, but if they manage to survive, they can become extremely aggressive. After adapting to life in the wild, dogs are bound to develop dangerous habits that may lead them to attacking a human, causing serious injury or even death. If the dog has been bitten in the wild or has been infected with rabies somehow, they can easily transmit this disease to humans and cause serious health issues that may not be reversible. If you own a pet, be it a dog, cat, lizard, or any other type of animal, The best means of giving up ownership is to give the animal to someone you trust. This could be a friend, a coworker, or even a local animal shelter or pet store. Absolutely anything is better than setting your pet free into the wild. Always consider the well-being of your pet before making rash decisions, and consider the consequences and potential hazards that may arise if your pet does manage to thrive in the wild. Which of these animals did you find the least expected? The next time you think about releasing a pet into the wild, consider this video and reevaluate your options. Thank you guys for watching, and don't forget to click that like button and hit the notification bell to let us know you made it to the end of the video.